Hello, here is a short training session. This is called How to Make Your English Language Teaching Association Sustainable. So, first, what do you think? What do you want your teaching association to be like? A snowflake or a snowdrop? I know they're both very English images, but the snowflake is very beautiful and disappears, melts very, very, very quickly. It only lasts a short time. But a snowdrop, beautiful flower that comes in the winter, it comes year after year after year after year. You think it's gone, but it always comes back again. It's much more resistant. I think we want the teaching association to be a snowdrop, something that's always there, that is not very beautiful at first and then disappears. Okay, we're going to look at the title. What does it mean to be sustainable? Stages, strategies, allegories, and a summary at the end. Okay, so what does it mean to be a sustainable teaching association? What do you understand by that? This is the definition from a dictionary. Of course, you can pause this video as many times as you like if you want to stick to a certain screen. I think all these definitions are relevant because we want the teaching association to be maintained. We don't want it to have lots of activities and then disappear. We want it also to conserve an ecological balance, and we want it to be upheld and defended. Okay. The word sustainability usually refers to the ecology of the planet, and this is also relevant to teaching associations. We use the word sustainable about energy. Is it dirty energy or renewable? About plastics, about food. Let's have a look at some of these just briefly. So, energy. Dirty energy, of course, pollutes and destroys, it disappears, it's ancient. Clean energy is no pollution, it's renewable and young. Plastics, recycling is definitely not enough for plastics. We need a total revolution. We need to change this completely, don't we? Because the plastics are killing us and all the animals, birds, fish, etc. And food, there's so many choices in our UK supermarkets. People buy too much any time of the year. There's mountains of waste. What can we do to make the food more sustainable? Here are some solutions for English language teaching associations. So, to keep your energy and the energy of everyone in your team, you need to exploit the existing energy, ensure you have enough, renew the energy regularly of each individual person and of the team. For the plastics revolution, we need to be creative and inventive, think out of the box. For related to food, we need to make things relevant to local issues, not maybe global ELT. And we have to invest in local talent rather than outsiders, much more relevant. For example, the Decentering ELT Hornby Trust initiative. You can look that up if you like. Sustainability has moved on because the climate crisis has moved on. And we need now to think about the effect we have on the planet in everything we do. So we can think about our ELT footprint, look them up, they're a great organization, in teaching, schools, colleges, transport, conferences, getting people there, handouts. We don't want to waste anything. We want to look after and sustain the planet. Some more green alternatives. For example, recycling books. in a raffle. QR codes, that sort of thing for conferences. Okay, so on from sustainability. Before we do that, there's lots and lots of British Council work on the Climate Connection. Have a look at these online courses, podcasts, video competition, for example, and follow the British Council materials. Let's look at prioritizing and ranking. Now, there's lots and lots of different stages I'm going to show you. I want you to think about the most important, put them in order, which are the most difficult, most time-consuming, and which can you do without. Look, these are the stages, not in the right order. I want you to pause now and think about which ones you've done, which ones you want to do, which are the most difficult, which are the most important. Okay, you can pause and think about that and make some notes now. Okay. Then we have several strategies. Look at the Queen. She can move in any direction. Her strategy. Okay, several strategies here. First one is make use of your network. Family, friends, contacts. Maybe you've only got 8 or 10 people on the committee, but each of those people has many, many, many contacts. For example, here, the deputy president, for example, could have a daughter who's very good at computers, an uncle who taught at university, a neighbor who cooks, all of these things, family and friends, we need to use them for the benefit of the teaching association, and it expands everything a lot. This bog off means buy one, get one free. It's often used in supermarkets to promote things. So if you try and do 2 things for the price of 1, for example, webinar presenters write up the session for the newsletter, record training and repeat, run joint events with other teaching associations, these use less energy to get more done. Feedback. You have to get some feedback. You have to find out who the members are, what they want, what they think, who wants to be more active, how they think the teaching association can improve. One of the best ways of doing that is with Google Forms, which you can put in a WhatsApp group or Facebook, for example, or email. We need to do this regularly. Invest in the well-being. This is really important. We need to know how everybody is. We mustn't overload people. It's a really good idea to have cover roles in place for when people are ill or unavailable. Of course, people get ill sometimes. We need to recognize signs of stress or overwork, allow time off or time away from the role. What about sport and leisure? You could do some together or socialize and find out about each other. And it's a good idea to feed off each other's energy. When one person has low energy, the others need to carry them for a while, just like in the picture there. You need to look out for and train the people who are going to take over after you. So you need to involve members actively, get to know who's doing what, give people tasters of different roles by asking people to help with certain, for example, a conference or certain events. If you don't have anyone to take over from you, you're going to have to do it forever, and that's not a good thing. If you have regular patterns, people, the members, will expect events and make time for them and know what to expect. For example, every first Saturday of the month, you have a webinar. Every June, you have a conference, maybe a newsletter twice a year. Okay, you need to have these patterns so that people are not surprised by different things all the time. Do you know about delayed gratification? It's when you have to spend a long time and a lot of energy before you get the reward. Now, in the modern day, many people don't have that anymore. They want instant gratification from someone liking their Facebook post, for example. But delayed gratification is really, really important. We have to put a lot of hard work in first before we get the reward afterwards. Playing these sort of games are good for developing that. And efficiency. We've got to be efficient with the least input for the highest output. For example, store everything together in a Google Drive or on a website. Keep your templates and adapt them in the future so you don't have to start from scratch. Bring all the links together somewhere, for example, on a website or YouTube channel. Cascade your training so that you teach some people and then they teach the others and pass on what they learn. And promote the next event at the end of each event to keep the momentum going so that everyone knows what the next thing is going to be. You need a mixture of top-down teaching and training and bottom-up working with local problems and local questions. If you mix the top-down and bottom-up, it will create a very nice mixture of events and activities. And you really need to risk assess. So you need to think before any event, what could go wrong? This is really time consuming, but it's really, really useful. What will you do if it does go wrong? What's your plan B? What's your plan C? What's your plan D? You need to think about this before you do events. And you need to keep it topical. Okay, when the football was in Africa, you could do something about that. The downturn in the world economy, you can talk about that and how that's affecting your English or classes. Any football event, sorry, that the FIFA is the football, the COP27 was the climate event, obviously. How can you relate your teaching association and the events to what is going on in the world and what's going on in your country? The more topical it is, the more people will be interested. So these are all these strategies we've just looked at. Which ones are you going to use to make your teaching association more sustainable? All of them, if possible. Okay, we're going to look at a few allegories now. So how could a sustainable teaching association be like a car, a garden, a zoo, a football team, an orchestra? This helps us expand our mental appreciation of these ideas so we can see what we want and what we don't want. For example, the orchestra, here are some ideas. So we do want the teaching association to be like an orchestra for those reasons. Music plays together, the conducting by leader, planned to make them perfect, flexibility. But we don't want it to be like an orchestra because each performance comes to an end. And if one musician goes wrong, the whole performance is spoilt. We don't want to work like that. You can pause now or afterwards and do the same for all of these. Why would you like your teaching association to be like these things, and why would you not like it? Finally, sustainability has moved on to another stronger word now, resilience. So this is about the world. We don't just need to be sustainable, we need to be resilient because we know more difficult things are coming. We have to learn to be more adaptable and change when necessary. Strength, being prepared for threats, the unknowable. That black swan there is representing the idea that we don't know most of the things that are going to happen in the future. There's going to be a black swan that we've never even thought about. We need to be able to recover after disaster, anticipate and mitigate disasters and failures, overcoming climate change, overcoming extreme leaders, children developing resilience. How can we apply this to teaching associations? I think maybe a mixture of those strategies, being aware of things that are going on and being flexible. We need to develop our own strategies for building resistance. And finally, here is some reading. These IATEFL Associates handbooks, running an association for language teachers and developing an association for language teachers, really, really useful handbooks to read and refer back to all the time. And then there's another link there to an article. Okay, thank you. That's it.